Welcome back to Speargrass Forge. If you're new here, thanks for coming. And if you're coming back, thanks for returning. Today, I'm going to be finishing my Screw Key Shackle Padlock. Stick around.
Singing true, rely, you rely at it. Singing true, rely, you rely, aye. Singing true, rely, you rely at it. For we're bound for Botany Bay.
So I've already got this locking mechanism basically ground out. It may need a bit of refinement. That's the reason I've got this, because now I've got to cut it off and get ready to make sure it all fits inside and slides up and down neatly. So I'm going to nip this off and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so now I've cut off the locking mechanism. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to weld the screw part of the screw key just onto the center at the back, just so that I can I've got something to hold on to while I'm maneuvering the locking mechanism in and out of the post before we put it in. Also, it saves me a hassle later on, and that way it's prepared for the spring and everything like that a little bit later. So I'm just going to weld this in the middle. I'm not sure how this is going to show up on the I'm using a MIG welder, so the first time MIG welding on camera, and hopefully it's not as gorilla snotty as before. So let's set up my welder. I'll be back in a minute. Just tacking it in place. That is not in the center. And here's the difficult thing about this, is it's not in the center. It's got to be in the center. That's warm. It's got to be as close to the center as possible. Well, that's pretty much going to have to do it. Still gorilla snotty, but hey. Just going to give this a bit of a clean off. Got a bit of splatter everywhere. Bit of filing. I'll go from there. On the inside here, I've had a trouble with the locking mechanism turning when I've dry fit. Now, as you can see, it's a round tube. And of course the locking mechanism is round like this, so when it gets inside it likes to turn. In order to prevent that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a piece of 6mm rod and just tack it on the inside, just inside where the end caps are going to be, and then I'm going to file a groove into the locking mechanism so it runs up and down this piece of bar. So I'm going to get to that and I'll be back in a moment. So, I don't know if you can see that, but that's how the bar intends to run. Just holding it in there at the moment, but so it's opposite the lock, so that way the locking mechanism can run up and down that. I'm just going to tack weld that in place. We'll come back when it's done. Okie dokie, so now that's welded up, as you can see, welded up on both sides, just to hold that bar in place while it's down there. Now I just got to get this piece and file a groove in there that's about 6mm deep, just so I can run up and down inside like that. In filing this, I'm going to start off with a triangular file, just so I can run a groove that I can follow with a round file in. Now, this is obviously going to take a while because I'm filing through a lot of stuff. I could probably speed it up if I cut into it, but at the end of the day, I don't want it too loose. I don't want it too loose around the actual driving pin, and I can afford a little bit more accuracy with some files. So I'm just going to chip away at this slowly and get this filed in, and we'll go from there. Okie dokie, so I've got that filed down. Took me a fair while, but it now fits over the 6mm bar that I have welded inside the pipe, just to run up and down to keep it from spinning in the pipe. Now, what I've also done is one of the nuts that came with this bottle screw, I've just filed out the inside so it can be like it acts as a runner, just to keep the screw from moving around inside the pipe as well. So next step was I've just tacked the hinge onto the pipe so that I can work out just the close fit and finish of the action before I go and drill into that and rivet it in. Now I just have to take the back edge off the back end off the actual shackle action, because at the moment it's just striking the back of this hole. Now I can force it, push it in to close it, so if I just push it a little bit it does close, but that's not a very smooth action, so I thought I'd just file out the back a little bit, file off the back of this just to curve it out a bit more to make that action a little bit smoother. So I'm going to get into filing that, and once that's done I'll be back in a minute. Okie dokie, now that's been filed down just over the top there, just taking the back edge off. So now when I close it up, just slide straight in. And not too long, maybe about 10 minutes worth of file work just to take that back edge off. Didn't have to file out the hole any, but now it fits straight in to the locking mechanism nice and smoothly. And if I grab the spring lock, slide it up the inside, just so it's lined up, you can see that currently it's unlocked in the locking position, and now it's locked. So that means my neck mechanism works. So now just time for the final fitting everything together, and drilling holes in here, fitting this into the back end at the stop. Yeah. So heating it up, blacking it, and then we're going to work on the key. Alright, so it didn't record, but I'm just drilling that hole and that hole, just to that's where a couple of rivets are going to go. Now they're just they're going to hold it in place, but they're mainly aesthetic, because I'm welding the stopper. I'll be welding the stopper on, same as this side, and then basically grinding them flat so they look pretty, and then blacking them. But yeah, so these rivets will basically be aesthetic. They won't really be doing anything in particular. So I'm just going to wipe this down, clean this up. Then I'm going to drill 2 more holes in this side to balance it up. So again, they've got 2 rivets that look like they're holding in the plate on this side. Now, just drill on the other side. So, that's done. So now I just got to make some rivets, cut some rivets, put the end caps in, and we're done. And it's final fit and finish. Okay, so now that we have these pins forged, these rivets, I'm going to just heat them up and put them and basically forge them in. Now these small rivets will be going in the front. They're just going to be blind, so I'm just going to heat them up and practically beat them into place with a pin hammer, just to spread it out and fill that gap, and also give it a little bit more of a rounded rivet shape. And these ones, slightly longer ones, will be in here, and because they stick slightly through, I'll put them over the horn and spread them out, and then what I will be doing is file them off to make sure that they're flush, in order to, so the action can run up and down. So I'll get into heating these up, and I'll see you back at the anvil. Sorry, the light's a little bit bad, guys. The sun's just coming in the side of me forge at the moment. Like I said, this isn't a rivet that's supposed to be holding anything in. It's just a blind rivet. It's just decorative. But let's see. Seems to have bitten in pretty well. So now, flip it over, heat up the other one, do the same thing. And I'm not sure if you can see that. I'll take a little bit better of a picture a little bit later when I'm out of the sun. But at the moment I'm just going to do the same thing with the other ones, except I'm going to do it over the big turn. So alright, so now that one's done, I believe. Try and pry it out. Like I said, they're not essential rivets, they're just there for show. Okie dokie. So now I have it all fitted up. Locking mechanisms in place. Springs inside. Now I'm just tidying up around the top just to make it look half decent. Get rid of some of the ugly welds, and in preparation for blackening. So this is one of the uses for the blacksmith black. Now I have 2 options. I can throw it in the fire, but the spring, I'm worried about the spring inside. Keep a close eye on it because I don't want it to go past black. I don't want it to lose a temper in the spring. So now they're all sealed up, I can't take the spring out. It's a solid unit now. Of course it's locked up, so I'll just bring it out a bit. I haven't made the key yet, the key's next. But this is pretty much how it works. It goes in. I'm just going to use a my round file just to, as a pin for the moment, just to stop it from going too far. So, of course, the when you screw it in, it's supposed to have the key head will sit against this in order to stop it from, so it draws out the screw and the spring. So once we do that a few times, And of course this is where the prison guards get their name Screws, because they had the screw keys. And undo it. Now I do have to put a little bit of lubrication in there because it is still a bit sticky on the when I screw it out, but once I put a bit of lubrication in, that's why I tapped it in, just to make sure the lock seat's back in place. But once I put a little lubrication in there after I blacken it, it will be all good. Alright, doesn't look like the pipe got hot enough, so I might. It looks like the shackle got hot enough, but doesn't look like the pipe got hot enough. I tried to avoid kicking that in the fire for too much, so I might put it back in there and see what I can do about that. Quick brush off. Oh, looks like I've got an arrival. Still not hot enough. It's boiling off, but it's not blackening. Another neat thing is if you heat it up and it doesn't quite go black whilst you're putting it on, if you heat it up, it'll burn black. So that's a good thing too. So at least I can heat it up, burn it black, and then I'll show you on the other side when I get to it. And then of course we can always polish it again with this wax afterwards. There we go, look at that. Evaporate the rest off, and then I'll hit it with a thin coat in a minute, just to put a bit of a wax on it, and then I'll I'll put some lubrication and we'll see how it works. Thanks for watching. So now we have the shackle finished. I'll leave a link to the previous videos in this series just here. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you like what you saw, and keep updated with the upcoming videos. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.